guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. This is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. You know, many times for young gentlemen, I say, whether you're in your 20s or your 30s, make sure you're getting rolling on your finances, even if it's not your dream job, to get your money in order, and that way you're prepared because before you know it, you're going to be in your late 30s, early 40s. For women, I always advise get your romance together because choices get slimmer as you get older. And it's not my personal belief of this. I mean, it is, but it's also backed by science as well as a lot of women writing articles about it. As such, we have an article tonight about, well, that very exact same thing. It seems 38 is a very popular time for women to all of a sudden go, oh my goodness, I'm almost 40. So I need to get married this year while I'm 38 and then maybe have a kid by 39, even though statistically it becomes more difficult. So tonight we have a woman that is going to blame the current bug that is going around, and that's why she's not going to be able to have kids because it's the bug's fault. It's not her fault. It's the bug's. This is written by Shannon Power as of just a couple days ago. Usually I'm not one to make New Year's resolutions, but this year I flipped things around, decided I would dedicate 2020 to finding the one. I told everyone around me that even though I was not very interested in going out with anybody and that the thought of going out through the motions on dating apps made me nauseous, it was time to get serious and give it another crack. You know, at 38, if you're having this struggle, that's probably not a good sign to begin with. I know by 38 I've had many long-term relationships. Now, they haven't worked out, much to my chagrin, but then again, it puts me here in a pretty good spot. She says, my method of leaving my marital status up to que sera sera attitude clearly was not working, considering I've never dated anyone for longer than a handful of months. At 38, hasn't dated anyone longer than a handful of months. That's what we call a red flag. That's a fear of commitment. And maybe she's got some other things going on. But if she's not willing to at least, or has not in the past by 38 buckled down and gotten serious with somebody, there's usually some reason why, either a phobia of commitment or enjoying the single life. That's also commonly done. I know I'm doing it. And, so there's nothing wrong with that. But if what you're wanting is a long-term relationship and eventually getting married and starting a family, if you're having these kind of issues, not a good place to start. She says, and getting back to the dating game was not solely motivated by wanting to find marital bliss, but rather my very strong desire to start a family. I turned 38 in February, and it foolishly taken me this long to realize I'm living with a biological clock that is ticking impatiently and that I should probably do something about it. But then the world turned upside down. Now let me stop here. This, as of reading this story, is April. Okay, she turned 38 in February and decided that's when she wanted to find a serious relationship. Okay, ready? I hope you guys have your calculators. We're going to count this out. Ready? She decided in February, March, now we're April. So what, 30 days, being set back 30 days is panic time because of the bug? Seems a little odd and seems like it's a bit of a stretch to blame it on the current situation versus maybe you waited a little bit too long and now you have a very strong sense of urgency. She says, as the bug swept around the globe, mingling with anyone outside of your household suddenly became forbidden, let alone going for drinks with random strangers to figure out whether he could be your future baby daddy. The panic and devastation I felt when I realized I was now at least 12 to 18 months away from starting a family hit me like a ton of bricks. And that's with perhaps the social separation of the spacing that we may need to keep going on for a while. But people are still hooking up. People are still dating during this. So why she seems to be taking this so seriously, I don't know. 2020 was going to be my year. I think anybody that thought 2020 was going to be a good year has quickly changed their minds a few months in. She says, I've overcome hardships to get this fantastic place mental health-wise, and I felt emotionally ready to take on a relationship. But now I feel terrified and defeated. And again, I'm not picking on her, but at 38, if that's finally what it takes to be ready for a relationship, there may be some self-analysis that needs to happen here because that's exceptionally late, whether you're a woman or a guy. As I emotionally chowed down into my lockdown of supply of chocolate, I did the maths. Social distancing rules could be enforced for many more months, which would delay me in meeting and vetting potential partners. But I know I'm not going to just walk out of lockdown and find the one immediately. Dating and relationships take time to develop, and that's long before you get to know whether you might want to start a family with someone. At my age, time is of the essence when it comes to not only fertility, but my chances of having a healthy pregnancy and embryo. Contrary to popular belief, fertility does not fall off a cliff after the age of 35, but there is a gradual decline in the chances of a natural pregnancy. The gradual decline is a gradual decline like this, which is why they call it falling off a cliff. It happens very quickly. She even continues on here. Women under 30 have about 25% chance naturally each cycle, which is 25% per month. And that drops down to 20% for women over 30. But by the time a woman hits 40, it drops to less than 5%. That sounds like a pretty steep cliff to me. For now that she's coming up on 40, she's looking at 5% per cycle. That's a 1 in 20 chance, and that's only around her window of about a week. So even if you do it every day, twice a day, the odds are still against you. Fertility options such as IVF are also not as an easy option as one may think, because it's basically expensive. I won't go down through the rest of that. Until this wrecking ball of a realization hit me, I didn't think the bug would impact me as much at all because of my privilege, so long as I stayed indoors and followed government advice, but the bug could completely derail my life plans in a very serious way. I've currently disassociated and pushed my feelings way down so as not to completely crumble in an emotional heap because there's not much I can do about it for now. But I know that I will be heartbroken down the track if this does stop me from having kids. Nevertheless, I refuse to rush into a relationship for the sake of procreation, even if the biological clock is against me. I may be keen to settle down, but I want it to be with the right person. Okay, I get you, right? I get you, but you want to find the right person when a woman's almost 40. Traditionally, they date around their age or up, okay? So most men that are in their 40s have either decided to either A, they're divorced and they have child payment and an ex and probably don't want to go down that road again. B, may not be ready they may have emotional issues as well and may not want a long-term relationship either, or they're just getting there. And that way, neither of you has any experience with a long-term relationship. That does not lend to a good future of relationships. Or number 3, they're married still. Or number 4, they're like enjoying the single dating life because they realize that they don't want kids or they may already have them with another spouse and they don't want any more. So again, the odds are against you by waiting to 38 or 40. And I would even say this to guys that want to settle down is that a guy's best years are going to be, at least for marriage, are going to be in the mid-30s dating somebody that is an older 20s. That's usually the gap that works well because the guy has good finances. She's done with college. She has found what she wants to do with work. Now, again, for those of us that are not dating or not interested in dating, it's no big deal. But waiting so far into your life removes options for specifically women. Men's peak, or at least when done in a survey, both men and women felt that their peak year or their best year was anywhere between 40 and 50, depending on the gentleman. Okay. But when men are at their greatest power in the world, when they're still athletic and attractive and doing well, take your Brad Pitts or your Tom Cruises, for example, still attractive, still not too many grays, still in good shape, are athletic, but at the height of their profession, as well as their income, as well as their stability. Women, on the other hand, do not have the same option, mostly because of biology. Biology tells you that you need to get started young, the younger the better, as far as having a family. Unfortunately, with her current situation, she's found herself waiting too late. So this month or 2, or even 6 months, or 12 months, if you're leaving a window to that small to find your guy, the right guy, the perfect guy, and settle down, it's way too much pressure, and it's kind of way too late. This is something that I advise women to do very, very late in their 20s at worst, and better the younger they are. And same thing for guys, like I said before, in your mid-30s is if you want to have a family, that gives you because if you look at her now, let's say she meets perfect guy this year. Her birthday is February. So let's say through all this, she happens to meet somebody. Well, 6 months, 9 months is going to be, she's going to hit 39. And that guy may not be ready to marry her yet, and it may not be the right one. She may have just wasted 6 or 8 months. But let's say that this is the right guy. Okay, now you're 39, and you decide to get married and start working on that kid instantly. You're at 40. You're at 40 before. That's if everything aligns perfectly. Having not ever been in a long-term relationship, I don't think the odds are with her. But there's an option for her. And we're going to cover that in my next video that I'm putting up tonight. It's called spurglaring. And this is a new word for me. I had never heard it before. But I do know the actions of it. And that's when a woman takes a guy's baby juice without his permission, or in some cases his knowledge, or in some cases without his permission, but he knows the act at least happened. And they go ahead and have a kid, whether he wants them to or not. But they went into this with a plan for that. And I'm going to review that in my next video, since I'm going to do a double feature tonight, since I did not get one for you yesterday. So guys, I'm going to leave this one here, but you see the point I get to. And this is not a dig on women. This is if you want to get your best options, your best choices as a woman, start early. Start early, early, early. As a man, if you want your best options, get a good, solid financial savings history, a financial future for yourself, and get that underneath you. And then number 2, hit the gym and make sure you're healthy healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? And you have those 3 things. That's all you can do. You can wish you were taller. You can wish you maybe had a full head of hair. You can wish you had a lot of things. But the 3 things you can control is your health, your wealth, and being a smart, intelligent man, if this is the direction that you want to go. As always, though, if you wait too long, your options are going to become limited. Guys, if you want to support my work, like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. A lot of you, I think, are being either unsubscribed or just don't subscribe to the channel at all, because I get more views than I even have subscribers on almost all my videos now, which is a little bit different, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Any donations that you make to me at my PayPal down below will be going to a group of doctors and nurses up in New Jersey that are making reusable protective gear that can be sanitized and reused, and each item that they're making is about $5. So anything that comes towards me goes to them for this month until they reach their goal, and I'll leave the link down below to the Facebook page if you'd like to donate directly. Guys, that's all for me. This is Better Bachelor. I'm Joker, and remember, the longer you wait, especially as a woman, the fewer options you have.